Hola, amigos. Welcome to a special edition of The Talking Mexican. Welcome back. I would like to share a story with you that I wrote on December 17, 2008. Until today, I never released the story for publication. I realized this will never be a Hallmark Christmas movie, and that's okay. I didn't write it for that reason. In fact, I don't really know why I wrote it, other than it was the Christmas season and I felt inspired to write. The story takes place somewhere in New York City, a few days before Christmas. Because it was intended to be a short story, character development is minuscule to say the least. I will leave that to your imagination. Ladies and gentlemen, the man at the window. Nathan Alexander, an affluent and respected New York attorney who, as a child, learned Santa Claus was alive, decided Christmas was nothing more than a commercial enterprise hijacked by retailers to sell stuff to the seasonal idiots, as he used to call those who celebrated Christmas. Nathan's disdain for Christmas goes far deeper than just finding out Santa Claus is not real or because of swashbuckling, ruthless retailers. Nathan, the oldest of three boys, came from a deeply religious home that was dominated by a father who was not just physically abusive, he sexually abused Nathan as well. Nathan's father, to his death, believed Nathan was not his true son. He would often tell Nathan that he was a trash can baby because his real father was nothing but trash. The story is, as his father told it, Nathan's mother had an affair, although untrue, while Nathan's father was serving a tour of duty in the military. For that reason, Nathan was abused by his father, especially around Christmas time, the day of Nathan's birth. When Nathan was 16 years old, his father found a piece of paper in Nathan's room with the words, "I love Tommy," written on it. This infuriated Nathan's father. Later, when Nathan returned home from school, his father confronted him about the note. When Nathan attempted to explain that it was just a joke, his father punched Nathan in the face, knocking him to the ground. He then ordered Nathan to get up and remove all his clothes, except for his underwear, socks, and shoes. Nathan did as he was told. Remember, it was December in New York. It had just snowed the day before, so it was cold outside. Despite pleas from his mother, Nathan's father opened the front door and ordered Nathan to go outside. Nathan knew if he did not do as he was told, his father would take his anger out on his mother. He did not want to see his mother suffer any further because of him, so he did as his father ordered. As Nathan began to leave, his father said to him, "You are no longer a member of this family or welcome in my home. You and your kind disgust me. I don't ever want to see your faggot face here again." And with that, he slammed the door, leaving Nathan exposed in the cold, dressed only in his underwear, socks, and tennis shoes. Unbeknownst to his father, Nathan's brother Nick had the foresight to sneak away while all of this was taking place, grabbed some clothes and a coat, snuck out the back door, and called for Nathan to meet him at the fence on the north side of the house. Nick opened the gate and told Nathan to quickly get dressed. "Listen," Nick said, "go to Charlie's hardware store. I am going to call Uncle Bill," Bill was their father's half-brother, "and have him meet you there." Nathan thanked Nick, gave him a hug, and left before his father learned what Nick had done. He wasn't at Charlie's hardware store long when Uncle Bill picked him up. After explaining everything that had happened, Bill assured Nathan he would never have that experience again. Bill, who was single, took Nathan in. Nathan remained with his uncle for several years before going off to college to become an attorney. Nathan's goal as an attorney was to go after any parent that is abusive toward their children, especially abusive fathers. Nathan's only regret was his inability to prosecute his father, who eventually died, still believing Nathan was not his son, and not regretting his decision to throw Nathan out of the house. 8 years had passed since graduating from law school and moving on his own, when Nathan met Sam. It was love at first sight. Sam was fresh out of college, looking to help others through charitable work. They both were at an event whose focus was to raise awareness of physical and sexual abuse of boys, when Nathan attended a workshop Sam was conducting. Nathan just knew in his heart when he saw and heard Sam speaking, that was the man he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, and the rest is history. 10 years have passed since Nathan and Sam first met. Although rough going in the beginning, because of his love for Sam, Nathan eventually began to warm up again to Christmas, but still disliked shopping and the commercial aspects of the holiday, which is where our story picks up. Nathan, at Sam's request, was at the Sinclair shopping square in town doing some Christmas shopping when he saw a young man, probably in his early 20s, standing in front of a department store window. The chill from the winter wind was bitterly cold. It was painfully obvious to Nathan that the young man was cold. He had only a thin jacket keeping him warm. I wonder if he is homeless or visiting on Christmas break from college, Nathan thought to himself. Surely he has to be freezing wearing that paper-thin jacket, Nathan said as he continued staring. Nathan didn't understand why this young man caught his eye. Something seemed familiar about the scene that was unfolding as he paused and stared at the young man peering into the department store window. That is when Nathan noticed an older gentleman standing next to him. Odd, he thought to himself. Why hadn't I noticed that gentleman before? The older gentleman turned to the young man and patted him on the shoulder. He had a look of sadness in his eyes. He said something to the young man, but Nathan was not close enough to make out his words. The young man turned away from the window just long enough to glance at the older gentleman. He nodded his head, smiled, and hugged the man before turning back toward the window. A few minutes after, the older gentleman departed. Nathan thought to himself, what could be so interesting in that window? What is he looking at that he has not yet left and gotten out of the cold? Perhaps it is one of those animated Christmas displays with all the fancy lights, billowing smoke, and Christmas magic. Rather than spend the day guessing and getting nothing done, Nathan decided to satisfy his curiosity by walking across the street and looking into the window for himself. When he arrived at the window, the young man momentarily broke his stare, looked toward him, smiled, and said, "Oh, hello, Merry Christmas." Although filled with sadness, he had the prettiest blue eyes and a smile that could warm the North Pole. His hair was medium length with a slight wave parted to the side. He had that all-American boy-next-door look. Nathan could see that he was cold. He had on no hat, gloves, or a scarf, just that paper-thin jacket. As the young man turned to look back into the window, he said, "I love Christmas. It is such a beautiful time of the year. It seems that Christmas is the only time of the year when people stop being ugly and show genuine love and respect toward one another." Nathan nodded in agreement as he marveled at his simplistic childlike view of Christmas. "I didn't even know people thought that way any longer," Nathan said, looking surprised. As Nathan turned to see what he thought would be an animated Christmas display in the window, was nothing more than a man's Christmas suit. An ugly one at that, at least by Nathan's standards. The suit was fashioned onto a headless mannequin with one display light just above it standing in front of a Christmas tree. Nathan could not believe that this suit is what the young man had been staring at all this time. What is so important about a suit, especially that suit, that he would stand in the cold staring at it, Nathan wondered. That is when the young man asked, "Is that not the most magnificent Christmas suit you ever saw?" "It's an Andrew Thomas Christmas suit." Nathan admitted to being unfamiliar with Andrew Thomas. The young man looked at Nathan and smiled. His eyes were trying to appear happy, but it was obvious to Nathan that something painful was hiding behind his facade of happiness. The suit came complete with a 2-button camel hair sport coat with a matching tie and vest. The vest and tie were replete with Christmas wreaths and candy canes. The jacket was black with a trim of hunter green atop a pair of black slacks and a white button-down Oxford dress shirt. The suit was accessorized with a pair of black dress shoes and an Andrew Thomas black and Christmas green wool scarf. Nathan finally built up the courage to ask why the suit meant so much to him. "Are you wanting to purchase the suit for yourself?" he asked. "Oh no," the young man replied. "The suit isn't for me. It's for a friend. He has always wanted an Andrew Thomas Christmas suit, but he never could afford one. I was hoping to purchase the suit for him as a Christmas gift, but I am afraid I don't have enough money." Nathan suggested to the young man that he check out the other retail outlets along the strip. That would at least get the poor thing out of the cold. "You never know," Nathan said. "You may find a comparable suit at less than the cost of this suit." The young man turned toward Nathan again, smiled that snow-melting smile of his, and politely said, "Oh, no, sir. It has to be that suit, an Andrew Thomas Christmas suit. Nothing else will do." Nathan then suggested that maybe the young man should inquire with the store manager to see if he could purchase the display suit in the window. The boy said his father had tried earlier but with no success. His father really wanted to help him purchase the suit, but he too was financially strapped. It was then Nathan realized who the older gentleman was that he had seen earlier. He was the young man's father. "You both must care deeply for this friend to spend so much money on something he will only wear once a year." "Sir, the suit isn't just for a friend. He is my partner. His name is James, and he is dying. He was recently assaulted and left for dead because he is gay. The doctor told me yesterday that James does not have much time left. He may not make it to the end of the year." Nathan's heart sank into his chest. How could I have been so callous, he thought to himself. Nathan now understood the reason for the sad look in the boy's eyes. "Where is your partner now?" Nathan asked. "He is at St. John's downtown," the boy responded. You could see the pain and sadness in his eyes. Nathan couldn't help but want to embrace the young man with all his heart. "That suit would have made James so happy," the young man said. Tears began to well up in Nathan's eyes before finally building up the courage to ask, "And what is your name?" The young man apologized before extending his hand with a smile, saying, "Forgive me. Where are my manners? Neil. My name is Neil. It's a pleasure to meet you." At that moment, his phone began to ring. "Excuse me," he said. "It may be the hospital." The young man's smile was replaced by a look of sadness. Nathan could not help but overhear Neil ask the caller, "Are you sure? Is there anything you can do?" Neil went silent for a moment before saying, "Okay, thank you. I'll be right there." Looking at the Christmas suit one last time, Neil said, "I guess James won't get to celebrate Christmas in that suit." Turning toward Nathan once more with tears in his eyes, he said, "It was really nice meeting you. I hope you'll have a Merry Christmas. If you are a praying man, please remember to keep James in your prayers. His full name is James Walter Bixby, and my name is Neil Banks." With that, he shook Nathan's hand and left for the hospital. As Nathan watched Neil leave, he could not help but think he had just met the true spirit of Christmas. Christmas as it should be experienced. Maybe that is what Sam meant when he said Christmas isn't a thing, a season, or a holiday. It's an experience. Once Neil was out of sight, Nathan turned back toward the suit. He noticed for the first time how beautiful the suit actually was. That is when it hit him. Nathan immediately ran into the department store and asked how much the suit was in the window. As Nathan fumbled for his wallet, the clerk asked, "Will that be cash or charge, sir?" Nathan responded, "Charge it." The clerk then immediately ordered his assistant to remove the suit and box it up. Nathan instructed the clerk to box the suit in a box without any identifying markers. He was to deliver the package immediately to St. John's Hospital downtown. He further instructed the clerk to address the package to the attention of Mr. James Walter Bixby, care of Neil Banks. When the clerk arrived at the hospital, he flagged down an orderly and asked the orderly if he would direct him to Mr. Bixby's room. The clerk told the orderly that it was imperative that he deliver the suit immediately. Neil immediately opened his eyes when he heard both men enter into James's room. "This gentleman has a package for James. He was told to deliver the package immediately." Neil was dumbfounded. Why would someone send us a package here, he wondered. When Neil opened the package, he immediately began to cry. Inside the box was the Andrew Thomas Christmas suit he was looking at in the department store window. There was a note with the suit that read, "To James and Neil, from the man at the window, Merry Christmas." At that moment, Neil knew exactly who it was who had sent the suit. Because of that man at the window, James was able to celebrate his last Christmas wearing his Andrew Thomas Christmas suit. James died 3 days later.